Welcome everyone here for this is another session of real estate investment. So many people are excited to get in here because we are not only covering the event happening with our economy, with our real estate investment, we're also showing some techniques of how you can save money, how you can get a good property. So my name again is Ashton Ekbatani. I'm doing it for the last 16 years. I'm a real estate agent, but I started doing this investment before I become real estate agent. So I had to learn different techniques to make money. So thank you, Hugh. He is with us. Hugh is working for National Bank. The good thing I like with Hugh, he can always come with different strategies. And real estate investment, in fact, if you want to make money in long term, there are a lot of strategy. So Hugh has different packages, and that's why I like to ask different questions from Hugh. And I asked him today to come here and share some of his thoughts with the market today. So saying that real estate investment, the goal for this seminar, this webinar all the time here is to move you from what I call a speculator to a professional savvy investor. And that's where you can make money. You cannot make money staying a speculator, saying, well, one market is good, bad, we don't know what to do, let's just buy this one. And I've seen people buying a house, they call it investment because their cousin says it's a great house. That's not what we call it investment. It is in a way, but you don't make money, right? There is no guarantee. So the goal here is to make sure you're not going right or left all the time with whatever news is on the market, but you have a clear roadmap and you know exactly where you go. So foundation here is crucial. And that's where the difference is between professional and not professional. We always review this situation with the market because whether you like it or not, out there, media is having its own impact. We have news all over us and we don't know which one to believe unless we grab some other third-party information and data and double check. So here we have media on the top, we have on the right side reality, savvy investors on the left side, and the matching point in the middle is where the reality is sitting that we can use. Now, as a real estate investor, every single day we have to judge, we have to listen, we are going to be exposed to media and news. What I want you to understand here is, for instance, the sentence I put here said real estate market is crashing. This by itself has no meaning because real estate investment is not global, it's local. Things can happen around the world. It doesn't mean it's going to happen to next street down the road. Maybe they're going to put a brand new hospital, which would affect the price of that house in that neighborhood. So this is a big word. The market, the media throw at you. Don't always see what you see there. Just read between the lines. So in terms of terminology, we're going to hear average price, days on the market, absorption rate, transaction, listing price, could, may, perhaps. These are the things that we hear that say the market crashes. What part of the market crash? Is that the number of transactions crashed? Is it the price crash? And so on. So here's one example of it. On May 21st, CMHC showed this news out, start shaking so many people. It said the market is going to drop by 18%. And very interesting, if you are a savvy investor, you don't panic. The first thing you have to do is read between the lines and look at the continuation of this article. It said home price could fall, could, pay attention to this word, could fall, or it could not fall. So don't panic. Now it said mortgage deferral could jump to 20% from 12% by September. Mortgage arrears could top 20%. So don't panic. Let's get into more information to find out if this statement is correct or not. And we hear immediately the reaction that Remax had to CMHC and is saying it's panic-inducing and irresponsible. So there was some kind of confusion up there of what direction the market is and will go. I heard a lot of banks are talking it from different angles. And Hugh, are you there?
I'm here.
Did you hear for the last few weeks or a month or two, a lot of opinion up there to what direction the market would go, left, right?
Yeah, we've been hearing it. It is, this is their way of saying, what the scenario is going to be based on, predictions to come or predictions that may not come, right? So, CMHC is also laying certain guidelines down and basically, follow that says, they've also had certain, they put down certain conditions that are going to apply from July 1st, but not life impacting conditions, but certain conditions. And, they're just trying to predict where the market's going to be. But these predictions have come and gone years over years over years, and people are still bought property. So,
True.
And people are still buying.
I remember 2017, no one could even predict what's ahead of them until it happened. So no one opinion. So market, housing market. Let's take a look at what's going on right now. So this news, I grabbed it on June 12, a few days ago, said the Toronto real estate market is suddenly on fire again. Okay, so that's the news. So let's see what we have after that. And it said the main reason home prices in Toronto aren't dropping is the fact of supply and demand. And that's, I could testify because for last few weeks, that's all I see. The supply and demand are so low, and that's what's holding the market, because I had many clients calling and said, well, the market is dropping, the houses are crashing. No, it's not only the numbers we have to pay attention, it's also what's happening with the supply and demand. And that's another law of real estate investment. For instance, let's say you go to a brand new neighborhood, you want to pick a nice house. One of the first things you have to check, is this house going to be vacant for 3 months, 4 months or not? So that's one of the things you have to check. Check the supply and demand. If there is no demand whatsoever from tenant to move into a house, then don't buy that house in that area. It doesn't matter what. You cannot rent it. So supply and demand is one of the law of real estate investment that you cannot ignore. Doesn't matter where you go, you're in Hong Kong or anywhere you are. So that's important. So this is what I checked with the market based on the information I got here. Toronto real estate market suddenly on fire. Okay, let's double check it. So this is what I pull out for the month of May, and this is by Toronto Real Estate Board, and these are all the information we receive based on the data. So if you look at the orange line for 2020, that shows the new listing. So compared to previous year, 2019, you see the supply is half. No wonder the price hold well. And I guarantee if that orange line was equal to last year, means we had a lot of homes on the market, I guarantee the price would have crashed. Now here's another information I pulled out from CBC this morning, just to make sure the first information I got is correct. Look at, Vancouver is always there, but look at Toronto, Greater Toronto. It shows the blue line shows the growth of price. So we have a okay growth instead of 8%, let's say 8%, we only had 3% growth. So we're not crashing, the market is not going down. If you come down a little bit to Calgary, yes, it went down 6%. And I know why, because Calgary, Edmonton, these are the cities that are relying only on one industry, and that's oil. Oils go down, they go down. Oils go up, it will go up. Some other good cities is Kitchener-Waterloo, for instance. It's multiple industry. The price is always stays solid. So Toronto, based on what the news said, makes sense. Here's another confirmation. It said average resale home price. And then when I'm looking at 2020 compared to 2019, we went up. Based on the stat we hear is 3% up. So this is another confirmation that the news I heard is solid. This is interesting information I pulled out yesterday. I just got it fresh. It said actively looking for home. This stat was pulled out by Aurea and Nanos. These are the information they collected. I find it interesting. That's what I wanted to share it with you. It said there are right now people who are actively looking for a house. Based on this stat, 51% say no, 49% say yes. So that's a huge number of people looking in terms of buying or selling some kind of activities. Now, this is what I pulled out a few days ago as well. If you look at the minus 53, that shows the number of transactions, which makes sense. Now, if you look at the right side, we are seeing the selling price 3% went up compared to 2019. So we are doing good. Now, this is clearly a price correction, but it's not crashing at all. So we went up, and this is what I said to some of my clients. I said, listen, a month ago you said the market would crash. Do you see any crash here? It went up 3%. And let's go to the next one. Intention to buy or sell a home in the next 2 years. So only 20% say no. 80% say they are in the market in a way, buying, selling, or both within next few years. Openness to buy a house only seen virtually. And this is amazing. This is the first time we hear that. It shows that people are comfortable to go online, find the properties they're looking for. And this is a good tool for investors. You don't necessarily need to go street by street, homes by homes, and see if the house would match your criteria. Many times, and very often, I qualified a home based on what I see on the map. There are a few things you have to watch. Let's say the price makes sense, is a great neighborhood you're looking for, and one of the things I always check is who is around you, who's the neighbors, and what kind of business is around you, how far are you to a highway, for instance. So here is another chart I have here, shows the sales, and clearly you see the sales was low for this COVID-19 situation. Now the next page here is sales to new listing ratio. This means anything comes to the market, would it sell? And as you can take a look at 2020, we never crashed. It's not down to zero. We have a good record of being identical to 2019. So almost the same line. So anything came to the market compared to last year, we have the same selling ratio here. Now, this is what we have to pay attention to. Resale home price. Did it go down? No. Based on the number refined, 3% went up, and this is the second proof of it. And this is, of course, the ratio for last 50 years in real estate. As a professional real estate person, investor, you should not pay attention to the blue line that is going up and down. You have to pay attention to the orange line. There are some crashes there or price adjustment, but if you are in the market to buy and sell and hold, that's what you have to do. If you are right now in the market for flipping, I warn you, you have to be very, very careful because market is fluctuating a lot. Now, this is Broker Bay. This is another site that I check. It's not open to the public. In this case, only agents they have access to, not all agents though, some agents. And I check that information with Broker Bay as well. And I see the market start picking up since April, actually March, the market almost hit the ground. And then right now, as we speak, the market start picking up back to a little bit stronger trend. Now, this is one of the tips I wanted to discuss with all the investors. Here is how to find desperate sellers, and that's interesting. So far, Hugh, do you have any comment on here for the market direction we go?
Nope, you're doing good. Actually, I don't know if you need some help in reference to. I don't know. So when you say comments, are you looking to, in a sense, are we talking about financing or?
Well, financing. I want to know, like you are in National Bank. I know that you've been there for many years. Is there any policy, any reaction, anything's changing with National Bank in terms of don't buy, stop, or buy, but be careful? The criteria is changing. Anything that we should know for investors?
No, not dramatically. Just the only thing that's, and sorry, I hope you guys can hear me, but The only thing that obviously that has changed is because of the COVID scenarios and COVID timeframes. Just making sure that people are still working, right?
Okay.
And they're just ensuring that people still have their jobs, and that's what they're basing it on. But there's no limitation to if you have your job, if you have the down payments, if you have the ability to buy, there's no stoppage to what you can do.
Okay. I remember
It's business as usual.
Okay. So anytime a bank wants to finance a house, they usually send an appraiser. Now I heard the appraiser is getting tighter and tighter, qualified the house for less money. Is that true?
I haven't seen that, honestly, Ashton. The qualifications so far that have come back on all the deals that I've sent out have been fine.
Okay.
So I haven't seen where appraisers have come back and said they've knocked the prices down. They're not getting out there saying because it's tough, you're going to knock the prices down. They're actually doing a pretty fair evaluation of properties. So I haven't actually run into any scenario where they've dropped the prices down dramatically or they've slashed it down saying, it doesn't meet what's being sold out there. I think just from what I've noticed so far in my scenario is that if I look at the market conditions, people are basically, and realtors to us, and whatever's happening out there is being set to what is out there in the market. So, and I think the prices are prevalent based on what is in the market right now. So it's not being, I haven't seen any scenarios where appraisers are coming down and saying this is too highly priced or shoot it down. No, I haven't. So far it's been good.
Okay. Hugh, some of the investors are asking, would buying a house with finished basement so they can rent it would dramatically change the decision to approve for a mortgage, or it has nothing to do with that?
So come again on that question.
Yeah, I'm just asking some of my investors, they're asking the fact that the house has a finished basement so they can rent it, would it affect dramatically in terms of getting a mortgage approval, or has nothing to do with that?
The rental property is always, you have a rental on it, which adds to your mortgage approval. That's part of it, though. But the overall mortgage approval depends on a lot of things, though, right? So it depends on your, first of all, your income. The rental income only adds to your income. So whether you can afford to buy the property based on income and qualify within the ratios. It's your credit. So two scenarios that immediately hit is your income and your credit. And the down payment. So, three scenarios that affect you right away. So if you have all three and you qualify within the ratios, or you basically, get within the ratios even with the rental income, then you're good. It has no bearing on the fact that says if you have a property, it's great if you do, because then you have multiple rental incomes and you can show that. But it just adds to, it boosts the ability to qualify maybe on something better, or maybe qualify for that same scenario if you have two rental incomes.
Okay. Today I have a conversation with one of my clients. He has 2 rental properties, and he said he cannot get a third one from the same bank. Is that true? Is there any cap? What is the requirement?
There's no cap. From National Bank, there is no cap.
Okay. So you can have.
There is a cap at 12 properties. National Bank has a cap at 12, 13 plus 1, 14.
Okay. So if I come to you, said I'm buying a third one, are you look at the same criteria as the first one, like your income, your debt?
Yeah, depends though. Again, it depends on how long has he had the rental property for, if he's just bought the rental property. So it depends on how this whole thing is calculated down. But yes, as long as he qualifies and you can do it, we can do it. And then the other way to do it is when people have properties on their business, right? So that's another way to do it. So what happens is they establish, so instead of just having normal rental properties, people also have the ability to basically create their own, it's called, it's under the business title now. So it's no more, they create a numbered company. So the properties are built under the numbered company.
Okay. And is there any limitation in terms of buying multiplexes, like 3-plex, 4-plex, 5-plex? We
can do up to a 4-plex.
4-plex. Okay, so 4-plex would keep you into residential. As soon as you switch to 5-plex, then becomes commercial, right?
It goes to commercial, yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let's take a look at how to find desperate sellers. This is some of the techniques I use. It's not absolutely all of it, but I have come across sellers that they really have to sell. And in that term, based on each house situation, I can apply different strategy that I can get a good price from them. I'm not here to take advantage of the sellers, neither knowing their situation, wants to buy it cheap. It has to be fair at the end of the day. This is the business we have to conduct. Now, this is what I pulled out. Can everybody see that? Sanjit, can you see it? Or Jay, can you see it? Just type me a yes. I want to make sure you all can see my screen here. I need one yes here. Can everybody see the screen I'm sharing? Good, okay. So the original price, that's what you have to check. In this case, I put it out this morning. It was $879,900. Now, the day on the market, DOM stands for day on the market. It shows 4 days. Thirdly, I'm looking at the price here. All of a sudden, in 4 days, the guy dropped the price for $849. Here's $30,000 difference in 4 days. What's going on there? If it was a person that was relaxed to sell his house, he would give it, at least right now, it takes around 24 days, 35 days to sell a house. So everybody know that they have to give it enough time, enough exposure to sell a house. Until this kind of people come up on the market, within 4 days, if you cannot get the numbers, they panic. They start bringing the price down $30,000. They want to sell. For sure, something's happening with this kind of house. So this is one strategy I always use, and it's very successful. As I said, I'm not here to take advantage of any unfortunate situations, such as divorce or leaving the country in an emergency case, but it is what it is, and I give them the price they're asking for. This is another thing you have to be careful. If the price comes down, let's say $30,000, it's not only the price you should check. I want you to check, drive by the neighborhood to see maybe backyard neighbor. It was a vacant land, which happened to me in the past in Milton, and all of a sudden the investors, whoever it is putting a gas station there, and that's why that first guy is panicking, bring the price down $30,000. So you have to be smart. Check all around the house, make sure there is no excuses, anything happening by the city that would eventually depress the growth of your investment property. So that's very crucial. Now, overpriced properties stays longer in the market. This is another technique I use. I'm looking at the properties that are overpriced and they expect to get their price. Of course, no one's going to buy their house, so the house stays in the market 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, and then by the time you get to 2 months, everybody's selling it within 1 month, and the neighbors and everybody say, what's wrong with the house? And that house become a doom house. So at that time, then you can approach them and start bargaining a better price. Listen, for 2 months, they haven't seen even one person to come to their house. So they start doubting that there is something wrong, what are we doing? And that's where you have to be. Homes, internal situation, this is what I covered. Sometimes they go through divorce, which I've seen. One of the houses I picked in Burlington, it was chaos inside. So I didn't step forward, and then they dropped the price, I think $40,000. Then I jump on the house at that time. Private sellers, this is another ideal situation. You can find them, sometimes they put sign in front of the house, or through some of the network that I have many of these private sellers. They are trying to sell their house. Sometimes they become greedy. They try to cut corners and sell their house on their own. Unfortunately, they're not well informed of the market trend, what's going on around them. And I've seen, like last year, I saw one of them that I think we bought the house for $35,000 under the asking price, and that was also in Burlington. So you really have to look at all the neighborhoods And by the way, if the price comes down, it doesn't mean you should buy it. You should still do your due diligence, checking everything else to see if you get it at a good price, is it worth it? Bank foreclosures, problem homes. These are homes that sometimes coming on the surface, you have to be on your toes watching for this situation. Sometimes they are great. Sometimes, as I said, you have to do your due diligence, and you may want to step away from those homes because they are nothing but trouble. But you have to really investigate in there. Here's one example of homes, trouble homes. This house on number 6 Mercedes Drive, and you can double check all this information I'm showing to you with the actual online information. Now, number 6 Mercedes Drive, they put their house on the market. What year was it? Let me just double check here. 2017. They put it for $679, couldn't sell it. They took it out of the market. They put it back for $639, went down to $610. $610 again, try one more time. $599. They finally sold it for $597. And there was a problem inside, of course. As soon as you see this kind of trend happening, then that's where you have to start looking for that house to see what's going on and investigate. So here you go. Here's the reason for the price reduction. Let me see. Here you go. That house was it was seized by the police because it was a growth house. So inside the house was total mold, okay? So anyone wants to buy that kind of house should really, really careful because there are costs associated with removing the molds, etc. Is it worth it at the end of the day? Maybe not. So that's your judgment. As investors, you have to look into that. But for sure, you have to check the prices in that neighborhood as well. If the difference of the price is huge and there's little things to do, then that's your call. Now, how do you attract the home sellers? The techniques I told you, these are the people who come to the surface. What about if people are thinking of selling, but they're not up on the market so you can see it? So one of the ways would be to put a sign in front of your house or front of your store or behind a window or anywhere said, we buy homes. And you'll be surprised how many people will call you. You can have this kind of sign back of your car, so we buy houses, any condition, put your phone number and email, and I guarantee people would call you. And then you can get the opportunity to go to their house and evaluate. But before you go to their house, please do your research, make sure the price, just be ready for the price they throw at you. Because sometimes they think they are selling privately, they can overprice selling it to you. Or you can simply send flyers. I've done that before successfully, people grabbing their phone call and they are willing to sell their house. So these are 3 very common ways for you to dig into the market, looking for those desperate sellers or willing to sell. And you might be able to get good bargain, and that's how you can buy the house. Now, for finding good neighborhood, I think I shared this one before. I sometimes use what we call home price index to find a great neighborhood, because I care about the growth, because I'm working very often on buy and hold. So what we see here, for instance, certain neighborhoods in the city of Brampton, and this is going on and on with different neighborhoods. For instance, we have here Mississauga, we have here Milton, Burlington. So anywhere in GTA, we have access to this information, and I can gladly send it to you. Just after we finish this conversation, send me a quick email to deltaland123@gmail.com. I'm going to show it to you at the end, and I can gladly send it to you. This is changing every month, so whatever you have today is not good for next month. What I'm looking at here is, let's say let's go back, for instance, what do you have here? Let's go back to Brampton. If you look at one neighborhood that is giving you a 10 years return of, let's say, North Park, the one before the last one, is after 10 years, the value of your property went up 96%. Now, if I go to the other neighborhood, which is right below it, Queen Street corridor, it shows that properties went up 152%. And this is done by Toronto Real Estate Board based on sold. And this is not a forecast, this is what's actually happened. So if you buy a house in Queen Street corridor 10 years ago. Right now, it went up 152%. If you would have buy Northwood Park, it went up only 96%. They are both good growth, but why not take the second one? So this is one of the way I always use to make sure if I go to a certain city, let's say Milton or Mississauga, am I really digging to the right neighborhood or not? Any questions so far? Yes, no? Okay, I continue. If you have a question, just type it there for me or for you. We can both answer your questions, depends to our expert here. I also ask people, real estate investment, you cannot just go and guess. You have to equip yourself with a lot of reading, a lot of, right now, YouTube is a great universe of learning. I'm listening and I'm watching many of these episodes online. Some of them are good. You can really learn from it. I have my own YouTube channel. There are tons of video there, educational video. By all means, I can always help you. Just give me a quick call, or you can go and enjoy some of the episodes I put there for you. You can also be linking to my Facebook for investors. It's called Real Estate, Successful Real Estate Investors. And of course, it's free. You can go there, and sometimes I put good deals there, or you can throw any question, and I'll be able to answer, or anyone else, part of the members, they can always answer your question. Now, I also have my own teaching material that a little bit of what I told you right now, it's going to be there, plus many other techniques and strategy that I'm offering the investors to make money using those strategies. I publish a book for real estate investment. I have another book as well. So if you're interested to dig into more strategies, there are tons of it in there. You can get it from Amazon.com. There are free tools online for you if you are as an investor, if you want to use it. You feel free to use my site, uniquehomesforyou.com. And there are calculators, there are mortgage affordability calculators, and also there is another rental property calculator. It's not mine, but I find it great to find out if the property you bought, can you rent it, and how much would be your rental? Would it cover your cost or not? So this is a great tool for you to use. I also have, there is a site, it's a free site for everybody to use called listing.ca. It would also give you a little bit of history of some of the properties. So just in case you don't have access to any real estate agent, you can easily go there and dig into certain streets to see if the seller wants to sell, is it a good price or not. And that will give you all the data that you need to have. There is another site, it's American based, but they start active working in Toronto as well. What they do is you send the application of your candidate tenant to them, and they would screen your tenant. If they like it, they approve it, then they guarantee that this tenant would keep paying you. If your tenant doesn't pay, then they step forward and pay you for the rent, and eventually can coordinate someone to come and throw your tenant out. It means that they take all the responsibility. I think there's a charge per month that you have to double check with them, but some of my investors, they find it a great tool to use. Any question at this time? Everything's clear? No question? Here's my phone number, 647-407-4049. My name is Ashton Ekbatani. Hugh, do you have anything to add here?
No, not at this time. The only thing I would say is there's a lot to talk about in terms of mortgages. We, as a bank, we do bring, we're one of the big 6 banks in the country, and we have, I have tailored mortgages for different clients, like you mentioned right at the beginning of this call, Ashton, for, with different outcomes in the sense each client has a unique requisition. Each client is unique in the request they bring across, and each mortgage is different in the way you basically structure it, right? So it's all about ensuring that, I meet client expectations, but not just in a way to create the mortgage, but also to create a life experience for the client so that it's a positive experience. And at the end of the day, it's a seamless experience, so that there's no there's no confusion, and the clients are happy. And there's so many programs out there. It's hard for me to bring out all the programs at this point. But if you do have a call and you want me to bring out some programs, I can actually talk about some of the programs.
So again, if anyone wants to reach Hugh, he is located in Mississauga, but he's all over. Can help you at 416-452-5290. Is that right, Hugh? That's your phone number?
That's absolutely correct, guys.
Okay. Or you can email him, or if you want, I can always pass on his phone number information to you. And if there is no more question, then that would be the end of our presentation for today. We have this webinar every week on Wednesday. If you have family, friends, anyone's interested to learn more, hey, this is free. I'm more than happy to share all my knowledge and experience for the last 16 years investing in real estate with you guys. If you have any question, you can always email me, call me during the week. I'm here to help you. Or you can send me just a quick email and then we get connected and I can help you. What I recommend you and highly recommend you is to get a mentor, to get a trainer. Do not go out and guessing things. That's the worst thing you can do to yourself. Thank you very much, Hugh, for coming. And
no, my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. And talk to you next week.
Thanks, Ashton. Bye, guys.
Bye.